Look, you know the drill. Your sales team's on site with the customer to secure the business, and for the project to begin, you need to have your customer notarize that notice of commencement. Now, this may take place in a few different ways depending on your workflow, but this could look something like you send the customer the documents via email. They have to find a printer to print it out, schedule time with the notary, maybe at a bank, drive down to the bank, wait for the notary to become available, get the document notarized, and then either scan and email it back to you, or even drive to FedEx to send it back to your office. Now, the thought of having to find a physical notary or drive to an office just to notarize a form is enough to make me and likely many of your customers procrastinate. Now, the demonstration I'm going to walk you through today will show you how simple and efficient online notarization is for your customers. Now, there are two main areas of focus for today's demonstration, which will be the client online notarization experience once you've sent them the documents to execute. And then following that, we'll peel back the curtains and show you behind the scenes of how simple it is to send and manage this process. With that, we'll jump right into things. So now there are several ways that this process can be kicked off for your clients, whether it's the sales team in the field initiating the request for notarization from their laptop, or it's the back office team sending these forms to your customers. Either way, the process is going to begin with the signer getting an email like this one here and a text message letting them know that they have documents to execute. Now, if we take a look at this email, of course, we do support co-branding. So you can see I have XYZ Roofing and Solar here, of course, a fictitious company. Now down here, you can also customize things like button colors. And then down in the email itself, we do give them a quick how it works in a signer checklist. Now, unlike basic e-signature, where your customers may be used to just simply signing a document and not having to go through any authentication, with online notarization, just as an in-person notarization requires, there is a requirement to have an ID present. And so, again, we kind of show them how it works here. And then from there, of course, they can just click sign documents now, which we'll do here next. Now, I just have this link over here in my browser. Now, I want to mention before I jump into things into the actual signing experience that this entire process that I'm showing you on my laptop today can also be done on a mobile device. So a smartphone, an iPad, things like that. So it's totally mobile optimized. Your customers do not even need to download a proof app. It'll work right through their mobile web browser. Now I'm showing you on my laptop today because it is a little bit easier and bigger to see the different screens, but of course, just understand this is completely mobile optimized. Now on this landing page here, once they click that link, again, either from a text message or email from their phone or their laptop, we do give them some how it works again. So we know a lot of customers don't actually read emails. And of course, if they're getting a text message, all that information isn't in there. We just want to make sure they're prepared. There is a few more steps involved. And so, of course, we have a video here that they can click and watch a demonstration of this process. When they're ready to go, they go ahead and click Notarize Now here. Okay, so the first step that the customer is going to see is, of course, to be able to review and sign any documents that don't require notarization. So what we have here is the sales agreement. So you could have a sales agreement, of course, on your end that you just need e-signed. So if we come down here, we could see that the signer is able to go ahead and adopt a signature and sign these documents. So again, any documents that just require e-signature can be signed ahead of time. Now, any document that does require notarization, as we take a look at this notice of commencement, we will gray out those signatures and any execution requirements here, and we do let them know they're going to sign this in front of a notary. So again, it gives them an opportunity. This might be the first time they're seeing this to review this before ever meeting with a notary. When they're ready to go, they go ahead and click continue. Now, as part of the online notarization process, they do have to provide some basic information about themselves so that we can generate knowledge-based questions. Now, this is a requirement for online notarization. And so we'll gather some, again, basic information like their address, date of birth, and then they'll be able to go through the KBA process. Now, you might have done this in your own life if you've ever done a credit application or a loan application where you have 2 minutes and 2 attempts to answer 5 multiple choice questions, again, derived from public record and credit history. So of course, these are all going to show correct for me because we're in my demo environment, but it's things like which of the following addresses are associated to you, area codes that might be associated, cars you might have leased, that sort of thing. Now they are given 2 attempts to go through those KBA questions. So if they fail the first time or they can't generate on the first time, we do give them another opportunity with a fresh question set to be able to go through that process. Now, at this point of the demo, we're going to go ahead and take a picture of an ID. So again, we just went through that KBA process. Of course, we reviewed our documents. And then the last step before we actually join a notary meeting is just taking a picture of their credential. Now I'm showing you this process on my laptop. And so because I'm doing that, I'm given two options. One, to use my mobile phone or my smart device to be able to take pictures of our credential. And then of course, using the webcam on our laptop. And the reason we provide that use your mobile phone first as a recommended step here is that mobile devices, of course, have way better cameras than a 5-year-old webcam on a laptop. We do, of course, allow webcam cameras, but we'll go ahead and show you what that looks like just so you can see the process here. So we'll choose the type of ID they have. You can go ahead and ignore this little pop-up that's going to come up because this is a sandbox environment. And now we can go ahead and take pictures of that ID. Now, of course, this isn't real credential analysis in this demo environment, so I'm going to go ahead and use Peter Parker, Spider-Man, as my ID. So we'll take a front and back photo, and you can go ahead and see my totally legit back of ID here. And we'll go ahead and capture that. Now, just like an in-person notarization, these ID photos are going to be validated by the notary. So in person, your notary takes an ID and they physically look at it. Online, we present these photos that were taken live to the notary, and they just do an additional validation when the meeting begins. So up next is simply joining that notary meeting. Now, Emmy did allude to in her introduction there that online notarization through Proof's on-demand network is available 24/7, 365. So as soon as this customer of yours goes and clicks join now, it's going to ring out to that pool of notaries, and someone within just a few seconds will pick up the call. It is truly on demand. There is no scheduling required. And so it could be 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. where your customers find it most convenient. They can come through and request a notary anytime. Now, we also provide Spanish-speaking notary. So if they were to click down here, it would ring out to the pool of notaries and request a Spanish-speaking notary. Once you're ready to go, we go ahead and click join now. Now I am playing the notary on my other screen, so just bear with me here for a moment. We'll go ahead and mute both sides here before I jump into things. So now we're in the notary meeting. Of course, this is just an injected picture of a notary. This would of course be a live notary if this were in production. So at this point, the notary on their side of things are going to go ahead and validate that ID. And so we'll go ahead and do that now. Perfect. And then on the signer side, they can go ahead and execute the signatures. So in this case, we're good there. And then on the notary end, we'll add in all of the required fields here. We have driver's license. Now, when a notary does pick up the call, they will go through a typical script. So have you had a chance to review the documents? Are you signing today of your own free will? That sort of thing. From there, they'll go ahead and add all the required information, including their seal. Now, at this point, when it comes to online notarization for these very simple use cases like a notice of commencement, a power of attorney, a bill of sale, lien waivers, anything on your end that does require notarization, the notary meetings are very, very quick, typically anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes from them picking up the call to the notary letting your signer know we are all set with this process. So from the very beginning of this process, when we click that email or we click the text message all the way to meeting completion with a notary, we generally see is less than 10 minutes for very simple use cases. So again, you're providing a really, really great customer experience. Now that I'm good to go here as a notary, I'll go ahead and complete that meeting. One other thing I will mention is, something we've heard from a lot of clients in the Florida region is that when they get the documents back, oftentimes they are not done correctly. For whatever reason, maybe for your bill of sale, they didn't check a box or they didn't initial a certain section of it. With our platform, every requirement on the document must be fulfilled before the notary meeting can complete. So if something is missing, like initial signature, something like that, we do run a validation on every document, even the e-sign documents, and then we'll flag it to the notary if a requirement's missing. And so that's going to allow the signer to go back and complete the meeting or complete the requirements, which then allows the notary to complete that meeting. So again, just putting an additional layer of protection there to make sure every document sent to the Proof platform is done correctly and efficiently. So we'll go ahead and complete that meeting now. Now you see a quick pop-up here as the documents are processing. Now, we did mention we have this on-demand network of notaries that are available 24/7. Those notaries are reviewed on average 4.97 out of 5 stars. And so this is where we are gathering those reviews, and we definitely take these reviews very seriously. So we definitely monitor these reviews, and we have an entire team that's dedicated to ensuring notary success on the platform. And of course, the notaries that are serving your business are the best in the business. Now that I'm all set as the signer and your customer here, we're going to let them know that we've returned the documents to the business. So there's nothing they further need to do at this point in the process. They can optionally download to their local device all of the documents, and of course, share out securely to anybody via email if they need to or want to. With that, I see some questions coming in the chat. I'm hoping we're covering this as expected for everyone who joined today. Next thing we're going to jump into is, of course, sending and managing transactions and showing how simple it is from the Proof platform. So we'll go ahead and bring down here. This is our Proof for Business platform. And of course, I was just playing the notary on this screen here. This is also where if you have in-house notaries, they can pick up those calls directly from our platform. Now, the Proof for Business platform is an area where you can both send and manage transactions. So you could see this transaction that we just did here. If I'm a notary or someone on your admin team, I can come in here when a transaction completes, and I can go ahead and download all of the documents very quickly. So of course, that sales agreement that was just e-signed, the notice of commencement that was notarized. We also provide an audit trail. So every action taken on the document by both notary and signers is shown here. We also provide the meeting video recording. So if you wanted to review the meeting video, of course, all these sessions are recorded, and so you can very quickly download this video if you need to provide further evidence for this execution being done online. With that, I promised everyone that I would show you how easy it is to send a transaction. So with that, I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. When you send a transaction, you'll click this button up here at the top, and we give you all different transactions that are available on the platform. Now, of course, what I just demonstrated for you today was our online notarization product and e-signature. But if you needed to send just a standalone e-signature, you can do that right here. We also provide basic identity verification and live agent verification if those are products you are interested in. With that said, I did create a draft, which will make things a little bit quicker for everyone, so you don't have to watch me typing. It is really simple to create a transaction, though, and this, of course, is a notarized transaction. So you just enter a transaction name. You can optionally CC contacts who will be notified when that transaction is sent and have access to the completed documents afterwards. And then from there, you're just going to enter some basic recipient details. So what is required is just name and email. Optionally, you can provide that phone number. We'll text them a link to get this process started from their cell phone. And then, of course, uploading the documents. It's a simple document upload here. You can utilize templates as well. So with those templates, you'll be able to tell us exactly on every document where you want signatures to go, date signed fields, things like that. And when you upload a document in the future, we're going to look to that template library. We're going to find the right match, and we're going to automatically add those tags onto the documents you are uploading. So this makes it a lot more efficient for your teams when they are working within our platform. Now, this is also where you can set those requirements. So in this case, notarization is required for that notice of commencement. It is not required for the sales agreement. And I can even move this up in the flow so that sales agreement is the first thing they see. And then the last thing when you create a transaction is, of course, putting any time restrictions on this. So if you want to have no restrictions, you can do that. Or if you want to put a date window to say, hey, signer, you can do this from today until next week. Or maybe you only want to give them a few days to sign. You can set that restriction here. Now, we did mention earlier that you can use internal notaries or on-demand notaries. Internal notaries are notaries within your business that would then onboard onto our platform and serve as a notary for your business only. We also have that notarized network, so you can just send these signings right to our notarized network, and there's nothing further needed at that point. Again, no scheduling required with those notaries. Once you're good to go, you go ahead and click Send Transaction here. And we'll start that process right from the beginning of this demo with that client getting an email.